Alright, so the next thing I want to go over here is the roof by footprint. Alright, so this is the one I use probably 99.9% of the time, is roof by footprint. It's pretty easy to do. The whole concept here behind roof by footprint is you're going to draw it from a plan view. Alright, so I'm going to go to my site plan here. So you'll draw it from a plan view, and you draw those kind of familiar magenta lines there, and then you plug in some 3D information over here on this side, and what it does is then it builds the roof there. So you're just basically drawing a profile and then editing the 3D dimensional information over here on the properties dialog box. Alright, so let me hit finish, and we'll take a look at this one before we draw it. Alright, so this one is basically a simple shed roof. Alright, and it's going over this lobby here, and so it has a slope to it, and its slope is 1/2 inch in 12, so it's a real kind of shallow pitch. It's got a little bit of an overhang on those exterior walls, and then on this side here it just kind of lines up with the exterior walls of our building over on that side. So let me delete it. Okay, get rid of it there. Okay, so I'm going to draw this from my plan view. So I'm going to actually go to 03 top of wall. Alright, and let me make an adjustment to my drawing real quick. Let's see, level below, and then okay. Alright, so now I can see this a little bit better. Alright, so there's my lobby, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 3-foot offset on these exterior walls to get my roof, and then I'm going to line it up with these walls over here. So let me go to the roof command and get the drop down, and we're going to do with roof by footprint. Alright, so there's roof by footprint. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to use my pick lines command to pick those two walls right there. Alright, so these are the two walls of the exterior walls that I'm going to line my building up to. Now you'll notice these little triangle things here. So you'll get these little triangle things, and when I select this line here, it gives me the actual pitch. So what that means basically is when I draw these lines and they have the little triangle on them, that means that those walls are pitching. There's a slope to that line. Alright, so the only line that I actually want slope, since this is a single shed roof, I only want slope on this back wall here. So I want to get rid of those triangles on there. So I'm going to pick that line, and I'm going to uncheck this box that says define slope. Alright, define slope, select that one, define slope, uncheck that box. Now notice once I do that, then those triangles go away. So that means that that's just going to be a perimeter of that roof and not a sloping portion. Alright, so let me use my pick lines again, and I'm going to set my offset to 3 feet. Alright, so that's going to give me an overhang of 3 feet. Alright, and I'm going to go off of my grid lines here. Oops, hang on a second. Let me make this a little bit easier on myself. When I do that, pick lines, I'm going to uncheck this box here that says define slope. So that's going to make sure that the new lines I draw don't have that pitch to them. Alright, so uncheck define slope, start picking my grid lines here. Okay, and then pick that exterior wall back there. Okay, and I'm going to trim it so that it's a closed loop, because anything in sketch mode has to be a closed loop. Oops, wrong one. Alright, so there's my profile of my my roof, and I want to make sure that this back one here is the one that's sloping, so I'm going to select that one. I'm going to recheck the box that says define slope. Notice you get the little triangle there. Alright, if I want to edit that slope, then I can just click on the 9 and 12, and I'm going to change it to 1/2 and 12. Okay. Alright, and that looks pretty good. Alright, so top of wall, and I'm actually going to change my base level to the O2 floor level, and change my base offset from level to 10 feet. Oops, sorry, 10 feet. Alright, so that's about where I want the height of this roof to go. Alright, hit apply, and then I'm going to hit finish, and we'll take a look at our roof. Alright, so there's our roof, and you can see it's sloping there. It's got a little bit of a slope to it. You'll see that I got my walls sticking out of the top of that roof, but that's fine, because all I have to do is use the attach top base command and select the roof, and it'll attach those walls to the roof. So I select the wall, attach top base, select the roof. Now when you get to these curtain walls here, you do basically the same thing, but you're going to get an error message. So I go to pick that curtain wall, attach top base, pick the roof, and then I get an error message that basically says I can't create this curtain wall mullion. The portion of the curtain wall grid is placed no longer exists. Basically, it's asking you, is it okay if we delete these mullions across the top here? Which is, yeah, we don't need them. So I'm just going to say, yeah, delete those mullions. Okay, let's do that with the other two. Oops. Attach top base, pick the roof, same error, say delete. Alright, so that's basically it for the attached roof by footprint. Let me just go kind of show you a couple options on here. Alright, so to get back into sketch mode with any one of these roofs, you just select that roof, go to edit footprint, and now you're back into sketch mode. So what I want to do here is I'm going to pick this line here, and I'm going to add a slope to that one, and I'm going to change that to 1/2 of 12, and then hit apply, and then hit finish. Okay, and then it's asking me to delete more mullions, which is fine. Alright, and you'll notice there it's a gable roof. Because I've got this line here is sloping, and this line over here is sloping, so now I have a gabled roof there. Alright, and then let me go back to my 03 level roof, go back to edit footprint. I'm going to pick this line over here, and we'll say define slope, change that slope to 1/2 and 12. Alright, so now I've got 3 lines sloping. So I got this one sloping, and this one sloping. So I'm going to hit finish. Okay, and deleting a little bit more of the mullions over there, but that's fine. Alright, so now what I've got is kind of a half-hipped roof. Right, you can see there, this has got a high point here, and then it's kind of sloping to there. So I've got a hipped roof there. So you can, depending on which line of the roof is sloping, you can create a gabled roof, a hipped roof, a shed roof, so on and so forth. So it's really easy to use, the roof by footprint, and it's nice because you can kind of add those things on here. Now, let me show you another thing too on this, on the roof command. We were talking a little bit earlier about these little add-ons here. You can add a soffit, add a fascia board, add a gutter. So let me show you adding the gutter thing. So I'm going to go to roof and then gutter. Now you have to have a roof already drawn to do this. And I'm picking gutters, and it looks like the only one I've got here available is a 5x5 gutter, but that'll work fine. And what I do is I just pick the edge of that roof, and it draws in a gutter automatically. So you can see it, put that little gutter on there. I'm going to do it over there, and I'm going to do it over there. Now I wish it had a draw downspout command, but I don't think it does. But it is kind of convenient because what it did is it mitered that corner of the gutter over on that side. But that's kind of nice. You can add fascia boards, you can add soffits underneath it, and so on and so forth with those little add-on commands. Alright, so that's basically kind of the basics of the roof by footprint. Right, so the idea is basically you just create a footprint of the roof in 2D and then give it the 3D information over here. Alright.